OMG. I accidentally recorded my non-binary friend hooking up with the famous queer. Someone was getting railed in the library, and apparently I was the director. That's the first thing I heard when I stepped onto campus. Loud, clear, echoing across the quad like it was gospel. At first, I laughed because, what? And then I stopped laughing, because 3 people turned to stare at me, and someone pointed at me. And then the panic started. I pulled out my phone. Missed calls. Zoe's. Dude! Raise all caps fury. A notification from the shared drive for my film class. My stomach twisted. The kind of twist where you know your life is about to split clean into 2 parts. Before and after. I opened the video. My hands were shaking. It played. Ray, Leo, stacks of books, hands in places that would definitely get anyone banned from the library. I had filmed it. I had uploaded it. I had accidentally made the most scandalous queer porno our uni has ever seen. And now, it was everywhere. I slammed the laptop shut. My heart was doing backflips. People were whispering. Someone said, "Damn, Leo's flexible as hell." And someone else said, "Wait, isn't that Atlas's file?" I wanted to scream, or faint, or spontaneously combust. Maybe all 3? Then my phone buzzed again. Ray, 10:04 a.m. Where are you? Ray, 10:04 a.m. You better run, bitch. I was already sprinting, and for the record, I've never run so fast in my goddamn life. Flashback. 2 days ago. The library was almost empty, which is exactly why I was there. I had just checked out one of the newer cameras from the media lab, some shiny DSLR thing that probably cost more than my kidneys combined. My film class assignment was to test how different lighting looked on camera. Dark hallways, old book corners, sad academic vibes. You know, classic tortured artist stuff. So, naturally, I set up in the most deserted part of the library, the notification stacks, way in the back where the Wi-Fi dies and the lights hum like ghosts. Tripod up, lens clean, focus sharp. This is just a test, I muttered into the mic, aiming at a long, dim aisle of books. Light level, emotional damage. I did a slow pan to the left, then a shift to the right. Easy. And then I heard it. A sound, low, breathy, definitely not coming from the AC. I squinted at the viewfinder, adjusted the zoom, and instantly regretted everything I'd ever done in my life. There were figures, 2 of them, half hidden behind a shelf, close, like entire body contact close. Someone's back was pressed up against the books, someone else's hand was sliding under a jacket. Soft gasps, a stifled moan, a flash of teeth catching a lip. I squinted harder. One of them had green hair. Ray. I think I made a noise, something between a gasp and a wheeze, because Ray, my best friend, roommate, and the literal person I watched eat raw ramen like a feral gremlin last week, was currently being kissed within an inch of their life by a tall figure with bright pink hair. Leo. As in Leo Ortega. The walking glitter bomb, the queer campus celebrity, the person who once wore a fishnet bodysuit to class and somehow made it fashion. Leo had Ray pinned, one hand braced on the shelf, the other buried in Ray's hair, mouths moving like a slow-motion hurricane. There was tongue, there were hips, there was a lot of grinding. I think I blacked out for half a second. Then I did the only rational thing. I screamed internally, stopped recording, and yanked the camera off the tripod so fast it nearly whacked me in the face. "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god," I whispered, backing away like I'd just walked in on a murder. "I saw nothing. Nothing happened. I am a ghost. I am air. I do not exist." Ray let out a breathy laugh, mid-makeout, which somehow made it worse. And I was 90% sure Leo said something like, "You're gonna get us caught, baby." I didn't wait to find out. I bolted out of the aisle, hugging the camera to my chest like it could shield me from the horny energy radiating off the shelves. I didn't stop until I was outside. heart pounding, sweating, unsure if I was traumatized or weirdly impressed. One thing was clear. I had accidentally filmed the Ray and Leo hookup. And if that wasn't the start of a gay apocalypse, I didn't know what was. Later that night, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Not because I was nosy or dramatic or weirdly obsessed with my best friend's sex life. Okay, maybe a little dramatic, but mostly it was guilt. We'd only just gotten used to being under one roof again. Ray, River, and I moved into this off-campus house at the start of the year, but Ray had been away for a while, some queer artist residency thing in Poland that made them even cooler than they already were. They'd come back just 2 weeks ago, breezing in like a storm in boots and eyeliner, dropping their bags and stealing the biggest mug like they'd never left. And now, this? So yeah, I couldn't just let it go. I found Ray in the kitchen, leaning against the counter, eating a cold Pop-Tart and scrolling through their phone like they didn't just hook up with the literal gay celebrity of our campus in the non-fiction aisle. "Hey," I said. Ray didn't look up. "Hey!" I scratched the back of my neck. I might have accidentally recorded something in the library. Now they look up, with zero shame. "Oh, you saw me and Leo?" My brain short-circuited. "Wait, you knew I saw?" "Yeah," Ray said with a shrug. "You bolted like you saw a ghost mid-orgy. It was kinda cute." "Cute? Ray, how... Since when are you and Leo a thing?" They licked some frosting off their thumb and said, "A few weeks. It's not a thing. We're just vibing." "But Leo, he doesn't even like labels." "Exactly," they said. "He doesn't do relationships. I don't do closets. It works." "But," I paused, "what if people find out?" "They won't," Ray said, totally unbothered. "You deleted the video, right?" I nodded automatically. "Of course." Reader, I had not deleted the video. And that's how I went to bed thinking everything was fine. That night, my phone buzzed with a notification. Files uploaded to class drive. Didn't even faze me. I was half asleep, convinced I'd cleaned up my mess. Didn't double check. I mean, who does? Smart people, apparently. Next morning, disaster. Missed calls, group chat exploding, someone blew up my Instagram DMs with "Bro, WTF is this?" By the time I checked the shared drive folder, Ray, Leo, non-fiction stacks, full 1080p mortification. The damage was everywhere. Flashback ends. The next day. If yesterday was bad, today was a dumpster fire wearing glitter. People weren't just whispering anymore. They were talking, loudly, casually, like Ray and Leo's private life was now a trending topic with open comments. I was halfway through my psych lecture when I overheard two girls behind me say, "Honestly, Leo's just doing this for attention. Like, first the gender fluid thing, now hooking up with some non-binary kid, feels performative." Performative. I felt like I'd been punched. Ray wasn't some side character in Leo's brand campaign. They were Ray. Funny, sharp, honest, so painfully real it hurts sometimes. But, apparently, not real enough for the rumor mill. By the time I got back to the house, the group chat was exploding. Ray wasn't saying much, just the occasional meme. Leo hadn't replied in hours, and I just sat on my bed, watching the same damn video thumbnail on the shared drive. Still there, still public, still my fault. It wasn't until the university IT sent a content removed due to privacy concerns email that I realized just how far it had gone. The video was yanked from the class drive, and admin dropped a painfully formal memo about digital respect. But the truth, once it hit campus, it was already out. Screen recordings, memes, TikToks, No amount of frantic reporting or posters saying respect queer privacy could fully stuff the mess back in the bottle. The next day I tried to fix it. Bad idea. I marched across campus like some gay knight on a guilt-fueled quest, printed out posters about respecting queer privacy, reported every repost of the video I could find, even emailed the uni media board, pretending to be deeply concerned. Then, I found Ray sitting on the front steps of our house, scrolling through TikTok with that unreadable look they get when they're pretending they're fine. "I'm doing damage control," I said breathlessly. "I got a few people to delete it, and I emailed." "Atlas," Ray said calmly. "Stop." I blinked. "But I'm trying to help." "Yeah, I know, but you're not." That shut me up. Ray finally looked at me. Their eyes weren't angry. They were just tired. "Everyone thinks I'm an attention-seeking gender gremlin who tricked Leo into a scandal," they said flatly. "And Leo's apparently faking his queerness for clout. People suck. It's a mess, and yeah, it sucks." I looked down, ashamed. "I didn't mean to." "I know you didn't," Ray said. "But this isn't about you being the hero now. You messed up. Own it. But also, look at yourself for once. Like, actually look. You keep hiding behind your camera and your 'I'm just the friend' act. But you're part of this story too." I stared at them. "What does that even mean?" I asked. Ray rolled their eyes. "It means maybe stop trying to fix everyone else and ask why you're so scared to admit what you want." A few days later. By Friday, things had fully spiraled. A queer gossip Instagram account posted a meme with Leo's face, photoshopped onto a rainbow flag that said, "Corporate pride vibes, all flash, no real queerness." Comments ranged from, "He's just hot, not actually queer," to, "Why does Ray look like they're trying too hard to be edgy?" I slammed my phone down. My hands were shaking. "Hey," Rivers said from the couch, glancing up from his laptop. "You good?" "Not really," I muttered. I went upstairs and just sat in the dark for a while. I couldn't stop seeing Ray's face, when they laughed at the kitchen counter, when they yelled at me to stop helping, when they said, "You're part of this too." And for the first time, I asked myself what Ray meant. Not just about me and my camera, not just about Leo or the damn leak, but about me. Why did I flinch every time Henry brushed my arm? Why did I pretend his dumb, half-flirty texts were just jokes? Why did it scare the hell out of me that maybe I wanted him to mean them? I curled up in bed, pulled the blanket over my head, and whispered into the dark. Shit. 2 days later. It started with a hoodie, specifically his hoodie, black, soft, smelled faintly of whatever cologne he uses that should probably be illegal. It showed up in our living room one morning, draped over the back of the chair I always edit on. Ray said Henry must have left it after crashing on the couch last night. No big deal. Except it was cold, and I was weak, so I put it on. Just for warmth, just for a second, just until my tea was ready. And that's when he walked in. Henry, hair still damp from a shower, sweatpants, a tank top that did insane things to my ability to form thoughts. He stopped mid-step. His eyes landed on me, in his hoodie. "Whoa," he said, voice low. "That looks really good on you." I froze, like full deer in headlights. "I was cold," I blurted. "I didn't mean to, wear your clothes in a weird way." He smiled, slow and lazy, walked past me, ruffled my hair like I was about to pass out. "Keep it," he said, grabbing an apple from the bowl. "Looks better on you anyway." And then he winked. Winked. I stared at the apple bowl for like 10 minutes after he left, still wearing the hoodie, still not breathing. So, yeah, that's the moment I knew I was so screwed. A few days later. By midweek, Ray and Leo had officially become that couple. Like, Not the obnoxious ones who post kissy boomerangs every 5 minutes, but the unapologetically queer, chaotic ones who actually had things to say and made you listen. The first episode of their podcast dropped that Monday. They, them, and then some. I helped edit it, but mostly because Ray threatened to leak my childhood violin recital if I didn't. But when it went live, something shifted. People weren't just listening. They were sharing, commenting. DMs came in, people crying, people yelling, people saying, "Thank you for saying what I couldn't." The day after it aired, Ray dragged me out to the quad where they and Leo had set up a mini pop-up. 2 mics, a backdrop that said, "What even are labels?" and a sign that read, "Got a gender crisis? Come talk to us." And people did. A tall goth kid with a binder talked about being misgendered at home. A first-year bi girl ranted about how every guy she liked accused her of experimenting. A closeted gay athlete just sat there quietly until Ray handed him a mic and said, "You don't have to speak, just be." Leo didn't flirt like he used to. He listened. Ray didn't deflect with sarcasm. They held space. Afterward, as they packed up, I handed Ray their bag. "You really love them, huh?" I said. They didn't look up. "You mean Leo?" "Yeah." A beat passed. "I think so," they said softly. "It's weird, being this scene. Usually people like us just get talked about." I nodded. "I'm scared as shit," they added. I looked at them and said, "Same." "About Leo?" I exhaled a half laugh. "No. About Henry." Ray finally turned to me, lips quirking. "Oh, hoodie boy." "Shut up!" "No," they said, slinging their bag over their shoulder. "I won't, because it's about time you stop pretending you're not into him." They nudged my shoulder. "Tell him." About a week later. Ray and Leo threw a launch party for their podcast that Friday. Not like a real party, but still, lights, cheap punch, beanbags in the backyard. Half the queer club showed up. Someone wore fairy wings, someone else played acoustic mitski. Henry was there. I didn't think he would be, but he came. He hovered near the edge of the crowd, drinking Sprite like it was illegal, eyes scanning. When he saw me, he smiled. But it was nervous this time. Like he was scared I wouldn't smile back. I walked over. We didn't say much, just stood side by side under the string lights, Ray laughing with Leo across the yard, Mitski softly crying from someone's Bluetooth speaker. I watched the whole episode," Henry said finally. "All of it." "Oh," I said, shifting awkwardly. "Yeah? I liked what you didn't say," he murmured. I blinked. "What?" "You edited yourself out," he said. "No camera creaks, no commentary, just Ray and Leo." I looked at him. "You make it sound like a bad thing." "It's not," he said, "but it made me wonder why you always hide behind the lens." That shut me up. Then, without looking, he reached down and his pinky brushed mine. Light, careful, a question, not an answer. I could have pulled away. I didn't. We just stood there, pinkies touching, my heart screaming in Morse code, and for the first time in a while, I stopped thinking. I just felt. A few days later. It was just us in the common room. 2:17 a.m., both too wired to sleep, Henry on the floor, back against the couch, me beside him, legs stretched out, blanket draped over both of us. We weren't even talking at first, just sitting. Then he asked, "You ever think about how weird it is, wanting to be seen but also scared as hell of being seen?" I blinked at him. That's literally my entire personality. He smiled. It wasn't his usual cocky one. It was smaller, like a secret. "I think I like guys," he said suddenly. My heart stopped. "And I think I hate that I can't say that out loud, without imagining someone throwing a slur at me in the locker room," he added, voice quieter. I looked at him. Just looked. Then I nudged my shoulder against his and whispered, "You don't have to say it out loud. I already hear you." He stared at me like he might kiss me. He didn't, but he rested his head against my shoulder, and that felt like something. A week later, Ray and Leo had gone from casual chaos to low-key couple in like a week. They still argued on mic, still made fun of each other's outfits, still flirted like horny cats. But now, there were moments, like how Leo automatically brought Ray their favorite oat milk latte before every recording, or how Ray absent-mindedly played with Leo's bracelets while editing audio. "Didn't think this would turn into an actual relationship," I teased once. Ray blinked, genuinely confused. "It's not." Leo looked up from their notes. "It's not?" They stared at each other. "Wait, are we dating?" Ray asked. Leo shrugged. "Do you wanna be?" Another long pause. "I think I kinda already am," Ray said, cheeks pink. I watched them giggle like middle schoolers for the next 5 minutes. It was disgusting, but also kind of beautiful. A few weeks later, it hit like a slap. Someone posted a TikTok, blurry footage of me and Henry sitting too close on the dorm steps, our knees pressed together. The caption just said, "Closeted Jock and the Film Boy." Soundtrack? Some tragic Lana Del Rey song. The comments were worse. I didn't even show Henry. I didn't have to. He stopped replying to my texts, skipped class the next day, didn't come to Ray and Leo's live episode taping. When I finally cornered him in the hallway, he looked panicked. "I can't, Atlas," he said. "Not like this. Not when everyone's watching." I swallowed the lump in my throat. "You're not doing this with them. You'd be doing it with me." But he just shook his head and walked away. Later that night, Ray found me in the editing suite, fake working on footage I'd already cut. They kicked the chair beside me and sat down. "You can't keep doing this," they said. "What?" "This," they waved at the screen. "Hiding behind the lens, editing your feelings out of every frame, pretending you don't care." I clenched my jaw. "What do you want me to do, Ray? Chase after someone who's terrified of me?" They leaned back, crossed their arms. "No, I want you to stop being terrified of yourself." And that one hurt, because it was true. Over a month later. It was one of those afternoons that felt too bright, like the sun was mocking you for being emo. I found Ray on the rooftop, aka their official brooding spot, legs dangling off the edge like they were too cool for gravity. They were staring at their phone, unread messages open on the screen. "Hey," I said, sitting beside them, careful not to knock them off. "Leo got in," they said without looking at me. "In where?" "Queer Wave?" Ray's voice was weirdly flat. "That influencer residency thing in Amsterdam. 3 months, free housing, brand new partnerships, basically gay heaven." "Oh, wow, that's huge." "Yeah." Pause. "You okay?" Ray bit their lip. "I should be happy. I am happy. I think." But they looked at me, eyes glassy. "I've been the practice round before, Atlas. The warm-up queer. The thank you for helping me figure myself out person." Oof. "That's not Leo," I said quickly. "They worship you." "They worship the mic," Ray muttered. "I'm just the co-host." I didn't know what to say after that, so I just stayed, beside them, in the too bright sun. 2 days later. 2 days later, I was alone in the editing suite, clicking through the podcast footage for the 5th time. My laptop chimed. Leo had sent over a Dropbox folder with new headshots. One of the files had his acceptance letter to the program. It was right there. The email, the offer letter, the PDF attachment. I stared at it for a long time. My brain whispered the worst things. If this never sends, if this somehow disappears, Ray won't lose them. No one has to know. It would be so easy. My hands hovered over the file. Then I heard Ray's voice, not in real life, in the footage. A clip from last week's recording. Love isn't control. Love is letting people choose you freely. I froze. Then slowly, painfully, I dragged the file into Leo's folder and hit send. That night, I curled up on the couch, phone on my chest, heart in my throat. Ray came in sometime past midnight, hair damp, hoodie too big. They flopped down beside me. Leo's leaving in 2 weeks. I know, I said. They looked at me for a long time. Thanks for being here, I nodded. And they reached out, took my hand, and didn't let go. A week later, the room buzzed with glitter and queer joy. Ray had gone full chaos fashion. Black eyeliner, green hair spiked with little pride pins, combat boots stomping across the wooden floor like they owned it. Leo looked like a disco ball fell in love with a runaway model. Silver sequined crop top, pink hair glowing under the fairy lights. The first episode of their podcast had dropped that morning. The second was already trending. People were everywhere, taking selfies, dancing, ugly laughing with their chosen family. And in the middle of it all, Ray and Leo stood like the universe had paused for them. I stayed near the back, holding a cup of too sweet punch, watching them, watching how Ray threw their head back when Leo whispered something in their car, how Leo soothed the collar of Ray's oversized blazer with this soft, stupid look on their face. I didn't hear the music fade out, but I heard Leo's voice rise above the buzz. Can I have everyone's attention for a sec? People quieted down. Ray blinked at him, confused. Leo turned to face them, nervous and glowing and so in love it was practically radioactive. I got into Queer Wave. I leave in 2 weeks, Leo said. And that sucks, because I'm gonna miss you like hell. Ray swallowed. You don't have to do this now. Leo took their hand. But I want to, because for the first time in my entire life, I don't want to keep my feelings behind a punchline or a filter. I want the world to know I love you. Ray's breath hitched. Leo, I don't want to make promises I can't keep. I don't know what Amsterdam will look like, or who I'll become there. But I do know this. Leo pulled a ring from his pocket. Not flashy, just silver, subtle. A promise, not a chain. If you'll have me, I want to figure it out with you. Long distance, messy, real. Ray stared, then laughed, then full-on tackled Leo in the most ungraceful, beautiful hug I've ever seen. Yes, they said into his neck. Obviously, yes, you idiot! The room erupted. I stayed frozen. Not because I wasn't happy. I was so happy. But something inside me cracked open, watching them, unafraid, unedited, unapologetically choosing each other. I realized how much I wanted that too. The viral scandal storm had passed like all good campus scandals do. Finals rolled in, someone got caught stealing a mascot costume, and our drama, well, it eventually got buried under the next viral fiasco. And then, that's when I felt it, a presence beside me. I turned slowly. Henry, in the doorway. No words, just eyes. His gaze held mine like it was trying to tell me something his mouth couldn't. Something honest, something terrified. And I got it. I got it. He wasn't ready to say it, not yet, but maybe. He was ready to feel it. And I wasn't going to look away. Not this time, not from him. The end. Do you think Atlas and Henry will ever be true to their feelings, or will the social pressure tear them apart? Thanks for watching. Subscribe to become a part of our Rainbow Force, and consider joining our membership for early access and exclusive content. Stay wholesome.